not in here. I won't actually be able to see your faces this time. Normally I get to see you on one side and I have everything else on the other. So I apologize. I won't be able to kind of see video cues. But today we're going to be talking about um, using your iPad to make video. And we're going to be looking at camera tips for taking the videos, screen recording, adding that to your control panel, how to use that tool, some different uploading and sharing options using YouTube, using Google Drive. So we're going to get right to it. If you have not joined me today, just make sure that you're muted, make sure that you've got what you need on your screen. You are going to sign in for credit. So in the chat, I'm going to put in the sign up for credit link. I am using a new tool for taking attendance, so I should be able to capture that, but this is my double checking to make sure that I capture that you are here today and that I can give you that credit. So I appreciate everybody. I'm enjoying seeing everybody's faces and enjoying getting to see everyone. So thank you for being here. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, and I've already added it, so I'm going to walk you through doing that. So I'm going to have to take it back off again. So when I go into settings, I'm sorry, that is not a very good picture. Then you're going to come in and under general, I really wish there was a way to make that light better. You go into control panel. Oh, you can't see it at all. It makes me crazy. I've turned the lights on, I've turned the lights off. It seems to be better when it's dull. Let me see if I can turn that down, maybe. I have to figure out how to make it work upside down. It's not any more clear. Nope. All right. It is in control panel. I may have to do this on the other screen. When you get to control panel, there's a top area that says customize controls. When you click on that, it's going to have all of the controls that you can add to control panel. Control panel is when I pull down from the arrow, and it's going to have all of your options like your sound and everything else. Trying to get that brightness to kind of make more sense here. So you'll notice I have screen recording already on here. To get that screen recording access, you actually go through the options. See, mine's added right here. So it has a little red mark on it. I'm going to remove it, and you'll see that it's now down here in screen recording, and it's going to go to the green button to add it right back in. And I can add any of these options right to the side by hitting the green button. Once it's up here, it's going to live in that top section. Those are the ones you've selected. Is that backwards? Now everything's backwards too. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. This may not work, y'all. So again, once you're in there, it lives right in that area right there. And when I want to take a screen recording, I hit that button. It gives me the countdown, and then it's going to live in the top area of my screen that it says that I'm recording. So when I start recording, it's going to be there. It might show up in the red bar. So then it's going to take a picture of and recording of anything that I am doing on my screen, which makes it really nice when I'm trying to do tutorials and things like that. And then I also want to make sure that my sound is turned on and that it is turned all the way up so that the screen recording app can then be taking my audio as well when I'm going through things. So then as that's recording, it's recording anything that I pick up as long as the tool itself doesn't have a recording feature. So if you're using a recording feature like Meet or something like that, which is why I couldn't show you some of these steps when I was in the Meet or some of those videos, it actually disables it as you're going. So that's kind of one of the things to kind of think about is just kind of thinking how that screen recording works versus not, and playing around with your apps before you do it with kids. If you're making videos for them to view later, then you've got some availability to play around. Then, when I'm finished and I want to stop recording, it's going to give me the stop recording. I hit stop, and it's going to live in my cameras. So, if I want to get to that, it's going to go straight to my cameras. It's going to show me the video that I took. And then if I click on that, you'll see that I have my camera roll down the bottom. I can select my video. I can look through the sections of my video. I can play around with it. And then I start getting my video options up here. So I can share that video by hitting the share icon right here. That share icon will let me share to whatever products I already have in my library. So if I have added YouTube, or I've added Google Classroom, or I've added my Google Drive or my Seesaw class, all those things are going to live inside that bar as soon as they're enabled. And I can scroll through and find all of my options. And if I don't like the options that show up, I can even hit more, and it's going to give me a list of them in that window as well. Okay, so when I want to share, so say I want to share to my drive, I select my drive, I have the picture of the video. Again, sorry, it's not a great picture. Then I go to select user if I've never done this before, and I'm going to select my HEB account. From my HEB account, I can also select my drive and put it in the folder that I want it to go to. So I have options of organizing it straight in there, or if I just want to get it in there, then I can do that as well. So for this one, I'm actually going to go down and I'm going to put it in my home learning folder, but I'm not seeing my home learning folder, so maybe I'm not going to. We'll just put it in Drive. Cool. Then I can also look at sharing permissions when I'm doing that, and I can share with certain people. It's going to have me type in their email address. I don't typically do that through this screen. I would rather do that in Google Drive because I'm just going to put it in the folder that's already shared with the people that I'm wanting to share it with. But I do want you to be able to see that that is an option. And then right here it says upload, and I can select upload, and it's going to start a little bar to upload my video straight into Google Drive. Now, that being said, when Google Drive is um, loaded, then I've got it on my computer. I can download it, whatever I want to do from there. So, say, okay, I'm going to cancel that because I don't actually want it to go to Google Drive. The other thing I can do is make sure that I have the option to go to YouTube. And if you notice, this one is not letting me go to YouTube, even though I have YouTube already installed. So I'm actually going to have to upload it straight from the app. But I can do that pretty easily as well. So then I'm going to go out and I'm going to go to my page with my YouTube app. So there's my YouTube app. And when I select my YouTube app, I am going to have to log in the first time. And again, I've used this before, so I have logged in. But my little icon is up to the side here. I can go to my channel. And then up at the top, I have a little icon right here that is my video icon. It's going to let me record or go live. So I can record straight in the screen, or I can take my video, hit next, and I'm going to start walking through the stages of getting my video uploaded to YouTube. Again, I can work on privacy, and I can say that I want it unlisted. I can play around with those different things. You are going to get a COPPA FERPA notification at the top on this one. As long as kids are not in the video, you're pretty safe. If you're making it for kids, they really do want you to start playing with it, and they have a whole nother app for that. If you are pretty sure that you're going to be doing all unlisted videos, I don't think that you're going to have to worry about that extra step. But you can absolutely go and get the YouTube Creator Studio app as well, and that lets you change it so that you can select that it is for students, and that extra safety net is there for you. You just can't do it within just the plain YouTube app. Then again, you find upload in the corner and it's going to start letting you upload your video. It does the same sort of thing where you've got your processing and things like that, and it'll tell you as it gets ready. And of course, it makes its thumbnail and all that kind of stuff. Once it's on here, this is going to be all available on your computer as well. So again, it's just different ways of getting the computer or screen recording in this case back off of your iPad and into a format that you're more used to playing around with if you've been playing around with it on line. I feel like there's more options online than there are through the video. And so then
Recording,
there
do you
is
not
my
feel like you have
video.
to keep your video on? I'll know.
Make sure that that's off, and I'll want to make sure that I delete that later because I don't even know what that is. All right, so again, you have all of your options and you can share your YouTube link. So if you're wanting that link, then you've got your shared to YouTube link. You can put that in a playlist, those sorts of things. And so just like we talked about in the Loom video, when you're creating videos, if you make playlists, then they can come back and they see all of your stuff all at once, and that makes it easier for parents and students to navigate over and over again, even if you're wanting them to have individual links. So just kind of keep in mind that you are likely going to have lots of video that you're creating, and think through some of those organization pieces that help them manage that content and be able to get back easily if their learner is not super independent to be able to find those things anyway. So if they struggle in class to find their things, they are going to struggle now, and just kind of keep that in mind when you're saying, okay, as I organize or as I put these things together, how do I see them using it? And you may want to think playlists and things like that. I'll show you that on the web version versus the iPad just because this is not super clear in the video. All right. So I'm going to go back to my camera roll, and I'm going to, whoops, not the camera roll. And remember, I'm in that video and I have been playing around with some of those different things. I'm going to get out of that and I'm going to actually go to the next one. So the next option you have, I'm going to stop it, is a heart. So if you want to favorite it, you can favorite it. You can also play through. You can turn the sound on and off. If you upload this to YouTube with the sound off, it will assume that you do not want the audio and it will not upload your audio. Make sure that is turned on before you share it. You can trash it or you can come in and edit it. Okay, there's not an enormous amount of editing features. You can remove the audio altogether from this side right here, and you can play around with the settings down this side. You've got the option to switch the video around so that you can see it. Maybe you took it in landscape and you want it in portrait. You can change colors and put filters on it. You can come in and adjust the brightness and the darkness. You can also autocorrect, so there's some kind of features there to kind of help you. And then you have an option up here for 3 dots, so that's going to give you more options, and you can put this into something like iMovie or whatever other options you have. So if you want to put in some other pieces, maybe some still photos, you want to do some voiceovers, and you want to make this a more engaging video, then you could go straight into iMovie. We're going to talk about that probably a little bit later, depending on how much time we have. All right, because that's on everyone's iPad. All right, so those are kind of the extreme basics when you're looking at just screen recording. You're wanting to do something quickly. You're just wanting to get the video done. You're using your camera to do that. All of those options are available for screen recordings or for using the straight camera app and recording through there. So let's look at using the camera app versus using the um, screen recording. So again, I'm going to lift it up. You're just going to see the desk below because I don't have anything super great to show you. Here, I've got a book. All right, so there's my book. So at least you've got an image, and I'll try to be still. Of course, that's not great either. All right, you have to be able to see the options. So when I tap the middle of my screen, then I'm going to get the option for this little sun. The sun is going to lighten and darken my screen, and it's also going to autofocus based off of where I pressed on the screen. Okay, so that's going to give you some options there. I can also zoom in and zoom out using the zoom feature on the side, and that's going to give me some better options as well. Then when I look over here on this side, I can use, I'm going to go ahead and change it to video so that you can see the video options for sure. I can flip the video around. I can do some of the um, flash. I can turn it on, auto, whatever, and kind of look at some of that. And but you also have slow mo options. So slow mo is just going to slow everything down as it kind of suggests. And then you also have time lapse. Y'all, this is a great time to do some time lapse videos. If you are trying to capture for students, and I'm going to put this down because I'm shaking it and going to make everybody sick. Um, if you are trying to capture how things change over time. This is a great science lesson to be able to go out, especially as the weather is a little bit more volatile in April. We've got more storms and there is more weather change than we typically see. So there, you have the option to time lapse the storm coming in your backyard, and they get to see that in a shortened time frame. So it's within their own what is it? I Oh, where are my words this morning? Um, it's within their attention span instead of over the course of maybe hours or something like that. You can look at how the moon changes and different things, and put those time lapses together so they could see as time goes on. There's all kinds of really cool ways for you to be able to use time lapse that in your regular scheduled time you would not have been able to do, or you're using your iPad all day long, so you can't sit there and let it take a hours long time lapse. Now you can, so that time lapse can be pretty cool because it's going to show over time, but within their own limited um, uh, attention span to see how that change happens over time. You can time lapse. Your experiments and things like that. So if you set up an experiment for them and it takes longer than a typical kiddo is going to sit there and look at it, you could time lapse the reactions over time. Set up a time lapse of how the colors soak up into the flowers and how your seeds sprout, and make that go along with the videos of different things. So as you think of what's coming up and different things like that, or things that your kids are really interested in, that might be a great way of still getting to show them some of those really great concepts. Of course, you can also look up video and stuff that's already been created as well. Just kind of keeping that in mind for what that could look like on the iPad and what you can be doing with the iPad. All right. That being said, we're going to jump over and I'm going to take this off, and I am going to go ahead and take my camera off. And this time I'm going to present my screen. All right. So again, kind of talking about those features. Where does it go? What does it look like? So when I go into my drive, I'm going to be able to see my videos by just coming in, and I'm really, really great at my naming conventions. I have a folder named video. And within that folder, I have my videos. So you can do it by lesson, you can do it by all kinds of different things. I also have a recording kind of studio app that I pay for that allows me to put some of my screen captures right in. If I'm using Meet, they put their recordings in a folder that they create for you. So you're going to have lots of options of where that goes. Some of my home learning stuff I'm putting into home learning, and so I have videos in there. So I'm gonna have to do some cleanup for sure. But I've got a link in here. If I go ahead and name my video something that's rememberable, then when I put this into YouTube, if I choose to do that maybe through here or whatever, then it's gonna name it for me, so that's one thing to kinda consider when you're naming things, but if I just made this from my iPad, it's probably not gonna come named, it's gonna become some sort of MOV file. So, just kind of think through that, when you're sharing things. Of course, I can share straight through from my, Google Drive, and I can get my shareable link and just take exactly what they give you here, and I can send that. I can put that in my Google Classroom, in my Seesaw. I can play around with that. Just know that if a lot of your kids are coming in and they're watching it over and over again, they will throttle you. I learned that. Now, I had 88 people logging into mine, so I don't know when that happens, but just be mindful that if all of a sudden they can't get into your video anymore, it's because you're hosting on Google versus YouTube. So I've learned my lesson, and everything will be going on YouTube, unless it's just to one person or something like that. But I just wanted you to see that you can do it through here. Another option is, hey, my team is all collaborating and we're going to be making videos, and I want them to see the videos I'm creating so they can put in their classrooms or seesaws instead of having to recreate. And then we're all just kind of sharing the videos, and I'm doing math and they're doing science, and those sorts of things, so that you're collaborating on some of the work being done. You can either create a folder that has everybody's stuff in there, and you just drop everything into the folder for the collaboration, or you can type in their email addresses right here. And to do that, I'm going to use Tanya as my example. I just come in, start typing, and select the person that I want. All right, and then I can tell them I want them to edit, comment, or view. I can send a note, and it's going to send them an email. My team does not want to see an email every time I share something with them, so I typically actually put a folder together. And so you can see that all of these have little shared icons in there, meaning they are shared with someone. So I have my home learning folder. So anytime I have a folder, I can come in and share my folder. It's working slowly. All right. And I can put the names of who I want or just send them the link. Now, the link is great because that's easy for you and instead of having to type everybody in. But I will just say that this puts it in their drive, this puts it into shared with me, and then they have to go find it and then add it to their drive if they want to or whatever. So depending on who you're working with, that might be a lot of frustration. This is going to limit some of the frustration, especially when you're collaborating right now in such a new environment. Just throwing it out there. Again, if I'm throwing things in here for parents, I may want to go to advanced and make a parent folder. And then I can come in and say, anyone who has the link can view, change that to public on the web. And then parents, when I throw something in this folder, it is going to be the right permissions for my website. It's going to be the right permissions for parents to get in, and they're going to be able to see it. Now, that means they can also share your links. So there's that. And you might want to put view only so that they're only seeing it. But if you're kind of trying to figure out the curriculum stuff and it's not working well for you, that might be a way of making sure at least the permissions are set right. Okay. All right. So then looking at the other option is YouTube. And in YouTube, you go up to your Google Apps, you go to your and if you have a channel, then you're going to have the option to either upload and create your video here. So I could take one of my videos and drag and drop it into the upload. So I can play around with that. Let's see if I've got one. Oh, that's not the icon I meant to push. Um, all right, so I think that will work. So I want to put that one in. And so it's going to have my video. It gives me my YouTube link. I can copy that even if I'm not finished. I can put an uploaded thumbnail and give it a cutesy title. I can put it in my playlist or create a new one. This is what I was talking about that was not an option in the YouTube app on the iPad. And I can say, yes, it's made for kids, or no, it's made for not made for kids, and give a restriction should it need it. Okay. Um, that's one of the new things that they've put out. It's only within the last couple months that that's even been an option. So if you've played with it before and you're going, I've never seen that, it might be something new just because you haven't been in here since then. So then I come over to next. Whoops. Um, and I just ignore that screen, and then I put it on public or unlisted. This one is unlisted this time. Or I can schedule it for when I want it to be available. Okay, so that's always an option as well. I don't typically do that because I am just working and I want it done right then. So then when I hit save, it's going to let me go through, it's going to give me this option until it's completely ready. So see how it doesn't have anything, but it still gives me a live link, which means I can go ahead and start doing my lessons and putting that in there. It's just not going to be available until it's actually fill or full, fully uploaded or whatever. So you can see that this changes the screen to get back to, because I'm in my studio now, I can get to my studio from my little area here. So on that first screen, if I ever get logged out of it, I can go here and go to my YouTube Creator Studio. See how it's named Studio here. In my dashboard, I have where who's listed to different things, some of my channel analytics. I can go to my videos, I can go to my playlists and see all of my playlists, return to my studio, and look at my videos again. So again, I've got all of my uploads. I can play with the details and edit them. I can look at analytics for the video, even though they're kind of already over here or whatever. And then I can do the visibility for any of these as well. So all of that can kind of be in here. And live actually lives in here too. And if live is something you're interested in, I have a whole sheet that I can send to you on how to do that. It does take 24 hours to get it to go up. So that is an option if you would like to look at it. But live stream does look different. It does do a little bit differently, but you can set those up in advance and things like that too. So if you are looking for a way of doing video, capturing video, having people watch it while you're in doing the live video, but you don't want to do all of the chats and all of those different things, live could be an option for you. All right, so, and you're not having to upload it later. Uh, that is basically the quick version of YouTube once you're kind of getting started with some of your videos. Okay, so I am going to stop presenting. I am going to turn the chat on. Um, so do I have any questions about this? Comments, concerns, anything like that?
Casey, can you hear me?
Anything? You guys have been so quiet today.
Hey,
Just
Casey,
letting
can
you
you
know.
hear me? This is Tanya.
I'm gonna stop the recording.